What's cracking with you people? Anansi here, and welcome back to My Two Cents. And today I'm going to be talking about why I am not excited for GTA 6. So, you might be wondering, why not? Have you lost your mind? This is like the most anticipated game of 2026. It's the most anticipated game of the decade, obviously. Why would you ever say you're not excited for this game? Are you secretly insane? All I'll say is there's nothing you can actually prove. But when it comes to GTA 6, the reason why I'm not excited for GTA 6 is actually because of, in my opinion, what I have been seeing as a slow decline in quality from Grand Theft Auto as a whole ever since GTA 4. So, for reference sake, my very first Grand Theft Auto game was GTA 3. Now, I never played the story mode because I was too young to really understand how story progression worked in games. I was more of a pick it up and just run around doing whatever kind of guy, you know? I think I was like 5 or 6 when the game first came out. I can't remember exactly. But my brother had the original PlayStation 2 trilogy at home. So I played GTA 3 and Vice City. It's just an open world sandbox kind of thing. I would run around collecting cars and just shooting people and just running over stunt jumps and getting 6-star wanted levels and just generally being just a public nuisance in that game. But it was amazing. Um, Then GTA San Andreas happened, and I was old enough at that point to kind of understand how story progression in gaming worked and how to, for the most part, follow a somewhat linear path. I think, um, I think Jack 2 might have helped with that, but I can't remember. But needless to say, San Andreas was the very first Grand Theft Auto that I sat down and played through cover to cover. That was my first GTA, all things considered. And it was one of the most epic experiences I've ever had in gaming, ever. I mean, you got to play as, at least from my perspective, as a young black child, playing as a black protagonist who came up from the hood and rose up to be this great business entrepreneur, and to have him uncover these secret government conspiracies and take down corrupt cops and clean up his hood and get revenge on his mother's killer, on top of discovering why it is one of his best friends betrayed him and everything they stood for. It was epic. It was grand, fantastical. I could never fully put it into words, at least in such a short video as this, but it left a lasting impression on me to the point where if anyone says that they designed a game based off of Grand Theft Auto or because of Grand Theft Auto being an inspiration to them, I fully understand. So when GTA 4 came around, imagine my surprise when you couldn't do even a fourth of the things you could do in GTA San Andreas. I mean, San Andreas, you could hijack trains and drive them to the point where they would derail off the side of off the tracks. You could fly planes and helicopters and VTOL jets. You can fire missiles that locked in. You could travel from San Andreas to Liberty City. You could fly a plane so massive it needs its own specialized hangar to spawn in. You could modify cars, give them nitro, give them special paint decals, and then color those paints to make them look unique. You could put hydraulics on lowriders. Um, you could do all these side missions with like stealing from a guy at night, or doing RCs or demolition derbies. You could steal a helicopter with a magnetic cargo plane on the bottom of it. You could do a bank heist in GTA. Hell, there was an entire side mission dedicated to one of the girlfriend mechanics, which again you get like several girlfriends, and you could what's the word? Uh, do a bank heist and get away with it essentially, because one of the guys you robbed from is a guy from GTA 3, I think. One of the mobsters from GTA 3. Because San Andreas is a prequel to GTA 3, go figure. Then you have this all this stuff you could do, and you go from this to GTA 4 where you don't even get to have like a personal house. You get like apartments. You just park your car and you park your car inside of like a parking spot on the road. You couldn't even get a 5-star want. No, my bad. You couldn't even get a 6-star wanted level in base GTA 4 until when the DLCs came out, and even then you couldn't get a tank. It was like some kind of like riot car, like riot control vehicle, which was in GTA San Andreas, but it was like a water gun on top of it instead of like a cannon. But again, it felt lackluster. Then the combat mechanics between San Andreas, where you could learn several different fighting styles, to GTA 4, where it's just like bare knuckle brawling, but it was like a 3-hit combo, and maybe a dodging mechanic every now and then. It just felt stiff and uninteresting, and the world, oh god, the world design from between San Andreas to 4, even between 3 to 4, felt smaller. Like Liberty City felt huge in GTA 3. It was wide open. There was plenty of space to get like drive around and have some chaos and like like evade police officers and whatnot. In GTA 4, it just felt small. Despite how big the actual map was, it just felt tiny. Then you couldn't do half as much stuff, and then the story of GTA 4 was just so depressing. It's honestly kind of an afterthought. So fun fact, I had recorded this video beforehand. I accidentally saved over the sound file, ready to go, but I had gotten like 25 minutes into it, and I literally had just remembered the story, and the story was dark. It was a very interesting story. I will give it that. It was a very interesting story that didn't know what it wanted to do. You have the story of revenge, not revenge, but you have the story of this guy trying to get away from the war and start a new life in America, just to find out that his cousin lied to him about his lifestyle. And then they get involved in like some kind of like crime thing that gets his cousin's taxi business burnt to the ground, which ends up being a pretty good new beginning for him, all things considered, due to I think an insurance payout or whatnot. Then I can't remember half the things that happened between then, and there's like a few choice driven things that don't add up to anything. But then you get the choice to like take revenge on the guy that betrayed you, and by then he's like a broken man that even killing him won't bring Nico any satisfaction. And then if you do that, and get your revenge on another guy, either your cousin gets killed or your girlfriend gets killed. So either way, Nico loses. It just felt like it made no sense one way or the other what you were going to do, because that didn't make no sense. It just didn't matter, because no matter what, someone was going to die. It was just who was going to die, but at the same time, it functionally served the same purpose. Nico loses somebody because of a choice he makes. Whoop-de-doo, And then I don't even remember how the game ends. I think it ends on the island with the Statue of Liberty there, but I might be remembering something else. I don't know. But either way, it was just an it was an interesting premise for a story that ultimately had terrible execution and didn't know what it really wanted to do. Then GTA 5 comes around, and we're back in San Andreas. I am so excited for this. They brought back the car modifications, even though it was limited. They brought back the ability to fly in a plane, even though the variety of planes, I don't think expanded it really that much. You couldn't even get into a jet without stealing it from an air base off the military site, rather than having your own air base where you could just get one of your own. Um, and then you have three characters, which just further confuse the story. You have Mike, who I think they wanted to be the main character of the story and had that be the only character in the story. And then you have Franklin, who I feel like was a corporate mandated character because of the lackluster response to GTA 4 story, because Franklin is just CJ again, but worse. And then you have Trevor, who I think is just a slight against the player base because, well, let's be honest, Trevor is, for lack of a better word, kind of a parody interpretation of what Rockstar thinks their player base is. That's what it feels like to me. And Trevor's story ultimately goes nowhere because his story makes no sense. It's just random chaos at any given moment. Mike is the only one that has like has somewhat of a cohesive story arc, and Franklin's story arc again is just CJ's but done worse with an even worse ending to it. And no, I'm not talking about the I'm talking about the multiple choice ending, or I'm not talking about the multiple choice endings. I'm talking about the one where he has to go save his friend Lamar. And I'm gonna give it a buck with you. If it was up to me, I just leave Lamar to die. He's been an ain't shit friend the entire game. But yeah, all I have to say is that the single player experiences GTA, for GTA from 4 to 5 have just not been very satisfying or very fulfilling. And then the online component of it, GTA 4 Online, it was a decent start. I can't knock it. I can't knock it too hard because it was the first GTA Online that Rockstar officially did. There were GTA Online servers for San Andreas back on the PC in like the early 2000s, and they got wild. If you ever get a chance, look up some of those old GTA San Andreas Online game footage. They are wild. I think they had like I think they had like up to like 30, 40 players in one server at one point, just going around that entire map. Like the map the size of San Andreas with that many characters makes a whole lot more sense. I don't even know how the servers handled that at the time. But then GTA 5 Online comes around, and I remember getting that game when it first came out, and I remember GTA Online when it first launched. It was alright, pretty well balanced, but there wasn't a whole lot to do. And now, as you got more and more things to do over the course of the game's lifetime, it got crazier and crazier to the point where the GTA Online isn't even playable, and there is no incentive to actually engage with the world of GTA Online, because of some of the vehicles you can get in that game. Like, I don't even know how to really explain this. It's just GTA 5 Online is just an unplayable mess if you're a new person getting into the game. And then on top of all that, the push towards making the game as realistic as possible has shrunk the world, ironically, and made it less appealing. Like, okay, let's go back to San Andreas. San Andreas had Los Santos, which was Southern California, Hollywood, stuff like that. But then you also had a random kind of country hick town island thing off to the side that was a pretty decent size that you just get lost in. Then you had San Fierro, which is San Francisco, and then you had another area further up there, and then around as well, where you could have like this entire outer country area. And then you had Las Venturas, which was basically Las Vegas. You had three whole cities spread across this massive map that you had multiple ways of traversing. You could go by train, you could go by car, you could go by boat, you could go by plane, you could do it by auto travel, using the game's auto travel service, or you could go there yourself. I get that GTA 5's map is the largest map in GTA history, but it's tiny when you compare it to what happened in San Andreas. Just I'm just saying that from a subjective viewpoint. I get that objectively speaking, San Andreas, that the GTA 5 San Andreas is the largest map ever made, but content wise and diversity of locale wise, it's tiny, you know? And then there's no real reason to engage with it because everything's so close together that they kind of just blend into each other. So there's no point in really exploring the architecture or getting lost in random streets and whatnot, or anything else for that matter. It's it's just a boring map. And same thing with just, GTA 4. That same thing applies to that, doubly so. So GTA 6 comes around and it's meant to take place in Vice City, which, if my memory serves correct, I think it's the fan favorite of the GTA trilogy. In terms of locations, like, yeah, Liberty City, Vice City, and San Andreas. And of the PlayStation 2 era, while I think GTA San Andreas was the best selling, I think Vice City is the fan favorite. Don't quote me on that, but um, as a result, of that, GTA is GTA just feels like it wants to evolve into something else. And GTA 6, it looks like they've learned some of their lessons. I think they have two playable characters now, um, male and female. I think they're going for a Bonnie and Clyde style story, which could be interesting. I'm not going to act like it can't. I think that can definitely work. Um, so I'm looking forward. To seeing how people respond to that. But when it comes down to the how do I put this? When it comes down to the trend I've been seeing from 4 to 5, and how the single player experience has just gotten more and more lackluster, and watching how out of control GTA 5 Online got, I am not excited for the idea that GTA 6 is going to be a remotely long lasting, well received game. It is definitely going to sell gangbusters. Let's make no mistake about this. It's going to sell amazingly well. And you might have a few people playing it, story mode day one. The majority of people are going to play it online because that has been a trend since the late 2000s, where people will pick up a brand new game and then never play the online mode. Well, not play the online mode. They'll never play the single player mode. They'll just jump straight into online, not knowing what the single player mode is even about. That has literally been a thing since 2006, I think. How do I know this? Well, I was playing Halo 3 in 2006, and I remember specifically that there were people that would pick up Halo 3. You would check their gamer tags and whatnot, and you would see that on their service history, that's how they wrote it out in Halo 3, there was, next to it, there was a status for your campaign mode and the highest difficulty you completed on, and it would be blank. It's so much so that I think Call of Duty now actively has its online mode as a separate download to the single player mode. So yeah, most people that pick up GTA are going to be picketing. That's not how you say that. Are going to be picking it up for the online component only. And I gotta tell you, I don't think GTA 6 is going to be much better online wise than GTA 5 turned out to be. So yeah, that's why I'm just not excited for GTA 6. It's a combination of single player wise. The game has been the games have been going downhill, and online wise they just can't seem to keep it straight. And I think a lot of it is just due to the fact that I think the devs want to do a more serious, gritty open world game. I think that's largely why they made Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2, to scratch that itch. But I think they want to do something like that in a more modern setting, but they can't do it because if they do set it in a modern setting, the first thing anyone's going to come out the mouth is, "Oh, this is a new GTA." So that's kind of where it's at. I think right now, I think I think depending on how well received critically, not based on sales, but on how critically received GTA 6 is by the wider gaming public, I think that will decide from there the next type of game that Rockstar makes. Because again, I think there is a segment of that team that wants to do something more serious, but doesn't know how to go about it without it being tied into GTA somehow. So we'll see. Anyway, I just want to get that out. If you're excited for GTA 6, again, let me know down in the comments below. I do want to know what you're excited for and why you are excited for it. I will do a follow-up to this video when GTA 6 comes out, but it will most likely be from the perspective of an outsider looking in. I'm going to wait for I'm not going to do day one because that would be disingenuous of me as someone who has no plans of picking the game up. I'll wait at the bare minimum 2 weeks. I'll wait 2 weeks, see what the general consensus is about the game, look up some gameplay footage, see what the story's about, and then I'll tell you guys from there if I feel like my opinion on the game has changed in terms of whether or not I want to pick it up, or if it's still not selling me on picking it up whatsoever. Because I can't make a comment on whether or not it's good or not if I haven't played it. So I can only tell you guys from the viewpoint of am I interested in picking this up. So that's where we're at. I have been a Nazi. This has been my 2 cents. You can take it or leave it, but feel free to let me know what your input is. And have a good day. Peace out.